Good afternoon, guys. Today we're going to continue with the topic of the elements of the triad. Remember that in the last class, we were seeing some of the topics and some of the elements of this triad. Remember that we talked about the triad hero, what are the characteristics of a triad hero, and also some of the elements of the triad in general. But today, we're going to see a video that will help us understand the elements that consist basically in 6. We're going to take as an example Oedipus the King, the play that we're going to read, the triad that we're going to read, remember, as an example. So we can see, guys, approximately six elements of the triad. We're going to see them right now. Number 1 is position or position. Number 2 is flaw. Number 3 is prophecy, recognition, reversal, and the catastrophe. With these 6 elements, guys, we can understand how the triad is structured. That means how the triad is made or developed. There is always, guys, a position in the triad. And you can copy this in your notebooks. This is important for you to copy them in the notebooks because this is coming in the exam. So please, I want you to copy. You can pause the video and you can copy them with tranquility. So number 1 is position. This is the first element in a play, in a triad. When the triad figure, that means the hero, in this case is Oedipus the King, fall from the position of power. Who was Oedipus? Well, he was a king. So in that case, we're gonna see that he lose his power. He needs to lose his power because that's like the rule of a tragedy. The position must be fallen. So in this case, we're gonna see that the position of power and prestige during the course of the play must be fall or must fall. So you can see here in the beginning, he starts as a king, but later he needs to get down as a normal guy. So that means that is the first thing that must happen. Number 2, we can see something different over here. What is flaw? But first of all, you need to know what is flaw. Remember that a flaw is a mistake. As we were seeing last class, you remember that I was explaining about the mistakes that commit the triad hero, and that's because he's ignorance and because he is innocence. The triad figure, guys, always will commit a mistake, not because they wanted to, but because they have to. So that leads the fall from the position that he has. In this case, the king must commit a mistake, and because that mistake, he will come down or he will lose his position of authority. So number 1, remember, the position of the triad hero changes. That means if he was a king, he transformed into a normal guy because he's flaws. So the flaw is the second step or the second element of a tragedy. What does this mean? Well, that they will have a problem of a position. So the flaw or the mistake will lead them into 2 things, or the 2 types of flaws in the Greek tragedy are the hubris and the anger. That means that sometimes they commit mistakes because they do not think well, because they're angry. So that makes them commit a flaw, and the flaw will lead the position. So another time, number 1, the position is the beginning of the tragedy, where they explain that the triad hero is a good man or a good woman, and that they have a good position, maybe a king, maybe a queen, maybe the son of a king, whatever it means, a position, a really important position. Number 2, the flaw. The flaw will be the mistake that the character, the most important character, the tragic figure, will commit because he's anger or because he's hubris. Also, we're gonna see something else, guys. When they commit the mistake, they will need to, let me see. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so as I was telling you guys, there is always a flaw or something that they do by anger. We're gonna see the third element in a tragedy. This is really important. The third element in the tragedy, guys, is the prophecy. What is a prophecy? Remember that a prophecy is a warning or an advice for the future. That means that always in all the tragedies, there will be a prophecy that is called an oracle. As you see over there in the screen, is called an oracle. An oracle, guys, is the prophecy, is something that will happen in the future no matter what the tragic hero does. So this will be really important in the explanation of a tragedy. Always you must identify which is the prophecy or the oracle to understand all the play. That is central. You need to understand it. So this is the third element, the prophecy, that is the warning. So we can see over here, look, this is an example of the Oedipus the king, the one that we're gonna read. Some 15 years previously, Oedipus, then a young man, was told by the oracle at Delphi that he was destined to murder his father and marry his mother. So this is the beginning of the play. It's always, they will start not strictly at the beginning, but in the first part of the plot with the prophecy. This will happen. It doesn't matter if he wants it or not. It's an oracle. So oracles are prophecies that will happen in a time in the play. This is the next characteristic or the next element that is called recognition. The recognition is the moment or series of moments where a character begins to recognize the flaw. The recognition, guys, basically is when they understand what they did, the bad things that they did. So in that moment, they start understanding that the oracle will start getting through. So when they recognize their failure or their flaw or their mistake, is called, look, anagnosis. Anagnosis is when they take out their ignorance. So in this case, when Oedipus, oh, he get it, I got it, he can say, for example, I just made the mistake and I killed my father because he was my father. But when he commit the mistake, he was not knowing it. He was not knowing that he was his father. So that is called anagnosis, when the tragic hero understand all the bad things he had done. So that's called anagnosis, the change from the ignorance to the knowledge, or the recognition is the same. Also, we have this other element that is the reversal, and is the moment when the action of the play undergoes a reversal, or that means events go from good to bad in a tragedy. Also, is called peripeteia. This is a reversal of tragic irony. What does this mean, reversal? Well, the reversal, guys, is basically the moment in which all the things that, in this case, Oedipus, the example that we are seeing, Oedipus had made, and all the things that he had done start owing him some consequences. So that's the reversal, when all the things start going bad and bad and bad and bad until the moment that it comes the tragedy or the catastrophe that we're gonna see it later. So the reversal will be all the moments when when all the actions start getting bad and bad and bad in a tragedy. And the last one, or the final fall, also is called the final fall, and is the resolution of the tragedy, that is the catastrophe, and is the ending in which all of the things, guys, resolute. That means that the oracle gets through. That means that all the things that happen, it gets through. So that means that it doesn't matter if they don't want to, but the oracles always will be true. So this is the last step, guys, or the last stage or element in a plot of a tragedy, that is called the catastrophe. With all of these, guys, the only assignment that you will have is basically you need to um, copy all of these elements and just put it in your notebook. So I hope, guys, that you understand this topic of the elements of the tragedy, and we're gonna see you soon. Bye, guys.